I and many other people on YouTube have made videos talking about how Kathleen Kennedy and Disney Lucasfilm have really, disrespected the classic original Star Wars characters in this new sequel trilogy. But I also feel that Kathleen Kennedy and her story group have also given the shaft to a lot of the newer characters, right? Rose, Finn, Rey, Poe. I think that all four of those, and Kylo, although Kylo I think has actually gotten some pretty good exposure and stuff, but of the main hero, he's kind of an anti-hero. Of the main, like, I guess, hero protagonist characters whom I mentioned originally, I don't think any of them have really gotten great exposure that much. Now, recently, there have been articles saying, Kelly Marie Tran as Rose Tico was only in The Rise of Skywalker for like a minute. She deserves more screen time, that sort of thing. I wasn't really too upset about that because Rose is a supporting character, and in a very stuffed movie like The Rise of Skywalker with so many different characters, and the whole sequel trilogy really has a lot of different characters, the characters who usually get a lot of their time cut are supporting side characters. So I wasn't too upset by that. And I think that, a lot of characters in the sequel trilogy haven't gotten enough screen time. So it's like, Rose isn't the only one we should be complaining about. And so there we go, number one. I think that Rose, if they had properly balanced and written out an outline for this sequel trilogy and having they would have more for these characters to do that would make sense, and they'd be able to balance the exposure on the screen, but they didn't. And Rose was one of the people who got shafted for that. She didn't get what a lot of people felt she should have gotten. A lot of people would think she would have been better honored if this trilogy had had an outline and had a more clear-cut goal and direction with his characters. So that's her. But also for Finn, Finn had a lot of wasted potential, right? He was the first, I think, Star Wars protagonist in the movies. I'm not talking about the books and the novels and the comics. There's a lot of other characters in there. But he was the first hero who was a military man, right? He was a stormtrooper or an ex-stormtrooper, right? There had never been in, I think, the main Star Wars movies a main character who had a soldier or a military background, right? Han Solo was a pilot, but not really a soldier. Luke Skywalker was a Jedi. Leia was a princess and later a general, but she wasn't a military, like, soldier fighter. Finn, as a stormtrooper and a member of the First Order, he could have just been like, the tough military guy, and he could have that kind of perspective. And I was really excited. He could have been the character to show us what it was like from a stormtrooper's perspective. What is it like to be a part of the military? What's the military world like in Star Wars? We don't really get to see it that much. We see stormtroopers here and there getting shot at or getting killed or doing stuff, but we never see the world from their point of view, and we never really get to see what it's like to be a part of the military in this world necessarily. At least not in the stormtrooper military. And I felt like Finn gave them so much of an opportunity to do that, and they didn't do anything with it, right? They made him like, instead of, an awesome soldier, he was like a janitor. Like, he was a soldier, but, he was just doing janitorial stuff. He's written as barely more than sometimes a bumbling idiot, like for comic relief. They didn't really give him, I think, a lot of depth and focus they could have given a character like him. Until like maybe The Rise of Skywalker, but by then it was maybe almost too late. And as for Poe, Poe has been portrayed, I think, as a competent, dashing, pilot, but they haven't given him much to do, right? Like, he was introduced pretty well in the Force Awakens, and since they were setting him up, a lot of us were like, okay, he's going to have more to do later. He did some stuff in the Force Awakens, but not much, but it was a setup. We thought that in The Last Jedi, he'd have a lot to do, and Finn, but in The Last Jedi, he didn't really do anything but run around yelling at things ineffectually and getting in people's way. What storyline did Poe have in The Last Jedi that was interesting or satisfying or did anything for his character? Nothing. He was pretty much sacrificed to prop up Admiral Holdo, right? A newer character, a lot of people were like, who is this lady? And Finn and Poe and their friendship and stuff and his flirtation with Zori Bliss came to light in The Rise of Skywalker. But still, it was maybe a little bit too little too late in that movie. It would have been nice if we had gotten more for Poe to do throughout the entire trilogy, and they didn't just wait to dump all this stuff in a rushed, cram movie in the last movie of the sequel. And, Rey, Rey is like the huge protagonist. She's very powerful, but she's like a Mary Sue. It's like she's overpowered. I think she's underwritten. She's never you never really feel like Rey's in a sense of danger because she's so much more powerful than everybody else around her. It's like no one can even hope to defeat her, right? So you never really feel worried or concerned for her character that much. And she has no faults really. She's like perfect in every way, which means she's not really a three-dimensional character. So I think that the four main heroes were very underserved, just as the original, four main heroes were underserved. Luke, Leia, Han, and Lando. This trilogy, I think, didn't do them that well. And it didn't do these newer Fantastic Four characters either. There was the original Awesome Four, this new Awesome Four. And I think the sequel trilogy screwed all 8 of them up. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please like it on YouTube and subscribe to the channel because I appreciate your viewership, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.